Welcome, everybody, to our webinar this morning, How to Be a Coach and Not a Micromanager. I'm your host, Adam Wong. Looking forward to being with you for the next 30 or so minutes. And if you're watching the recording of this, I hope you also find it valuable. And if you need any help, have any questions, need support, please reach back out. Email address is right there, adam@rockstarworkforce.com. All right, let's go ahead and dive right into this stuff. So first off, get to know me a little bit. Looking at the names that are live, I recognize about half and then about 3/4 of the names. So many of you I've had a chance to meet in person. You've been through some of our programs, but those of you that have not had a chance to meet yet, quick little kind of intro for myself. This is a picture of my family. Hudson, our 5-year-old son, just started kindergarten a few weeks ago. My wife, Amber, been together for 18 years. And our little daughter, Harper, look at that face. She's just she's just a lot of mischief. And kind of funny, I noticed this morning as I was getting ready to go on here, I was like, I'm wearing the same shirt as in that picture. Must be my favorite shirt. I don't know. But that's us. And then educational background. My whole educational background has been all business, right? From community college to my bachelor's degree to my MBA. It's all business related and it's all leadership stuff. Transitioning into the career stuff, been in this space, the people space, since 2011, and founded Rockstar Workforce back in 2017. And really what we do is we help businesses, we help people develop real world leadership skills. At the core, that's what we do. And so a lot of this stuff is very practical, tangible things you can implement right away. And there's going to be a couple things I share with you today that I hope you can go practice it literally this afternoon. So there should be some things you can try today. And if you want to get in contact with me, go ahead and email me or join me on LinkedIn if you're not already. So it's a great way to stay in touch. All right, so why are you here? What are some talking points, things we're going to cover in the next 27-ish minutes? Here's what they are. First off, what's in it for you? Why are you here? Why are you investing some of your time to be here today? And I thank you for investing your time. I know time is precious, so the chance that you can take to be here today, I definitely respect it, and I don't want to waste it. So what's in it for you? We're going to start there. We're then going to get into what are you likely doing today, but specifically as a coach? How are you likely coaching people today? Or maybe you're not. And do you have some of those micromanager tendencies? We want to get away from those and make sure that you're leveraging some of the coaching skills that we can cover. And then how to start coaching. Maybe you've already been coaching for a while, and maybe you're already asking yourself, what does coaching even mean? I'm a manager. Am I a coach? Well, we're going to break that down too. So how can you start coaching? Our magical 80-20 delegation principle, a great way to just change your mindset about delegating. So make it easier on you. Some of us, many of us suffer from delegating. We're not good at it. We don't like to do it. We're uncomfortable with it. So I'm going to share one key thing that'll hopefully just change your mindset so you can start doing it a little bit better. And then lastly, a free bonus resource for you. Stick around to the end and I'll show you where you can get that, where you can download that right from our website. All right, so those are the talking points. And so first off, what's in it for you, right? So the WIFM, what's in it for me? How will you benefit if you put some of this stuff into action? Well, here's my hope, is that if you're able to put some of this into action, you will get some more time back. Because if you're able to coach your people well and delegate effectively to them and don't be a micromanager, that should free up some time. If you're able to empower your team to make decisions, think for themselves, even if they make some mistakes, go make some new mistakes, but allow them to think for themselves, that again will free up your time. Okay, so what can you do with more time? If it's an hour a week, 2 hours a week, 5 hours a week, what could you do with that? You could be more disciplined and focus on the priorities that you need to focus on. So focus on your career, and maybe it's other things you could be doing. So it's all about you. You're going to get more time back if you can coach well. And you'll also be sought out as a leader that people want to work for. Because if you're a leader that empowers the people and it coaches them well, you're going to be sought out as a leader that they want to work for, almost have a line ready to work for you. All right, so imagine this, sticking with this theme of what's in it for you. Imagine if your team could do a few of these things even better. What if they became better at solving their own problems? I guarantee every single person on here, their team comes to them from time to time and they throw their problems over to you and ask you to solve them. So imagine if they were better at solving their own problems. That goes right into taking ownership. So imagine if they were to take ownership of situations rather than coming to you or going to somebody else. What would that do for you? How about getting better at critical thinking? What if you could kind of guide them down this path to question themselves, question their thoughts, weigh pros and cons, brainstorm more ideas? They can get better at critical thinking. What would that do for you? And then lastly, what if they didn't rely on you as much? What if you could go on a vacation for a week, for 2 weeks, and not have to worry about, the fires you had to put out when you get back because your team can solve their own problems and take ownership of situations? What would that do for you? I would think it's going to instill some confidence. It's going to make you feel less stressed, less anxiety, sleep better, all the physiological benefits that can come out of this. It can do a lot for you. So that's where we're trying to go, right? All right, so let's start with the definition. So how do you define coaching? So I'd like you to, I know it says chat box, I know it's disabled. I want you to think for a moment, when you think of the word coaching, what comes to mind? And let's go ahead and use the question box. So in the question box, I'd like you to go ahead and type your answer. Don't overthink it. Don't Google it. Just what comes to mind when you think of coaching? How do you define it? And I want to see a few of your answers coming in. So let me go ahead and give you a minute to do that. Already got one coming in. Cool. Thank you, Kay. Shifting perspective. Asking questions to guide ideas. Aaron Lanzi, I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly. I love that one. Asking questions to guide ideas. That is going to come into play as you're following our model already. Empower people. Teaching. Thank you, Amy, for teaching. Caitlin, giving team members the tools to maximize their performance. Awesome. An advisor, sharing knowledge. Thank you, Jeff. So Jordan, encouragement to be the best you can be, providing feedback to guide behavior, empowering. Good. Okay, they're coming in fast. I'm not going to read all of them. I think you can actually see them as well. There's some very good ones on there. You know what I don't see? I don't see do the thing for the people. I'm happy to see that. I'm happy we don't see that because oftentimes we fall in that trap of doing things for our team members. So there are some great definitions there. Let me share with you our definition of coaching and leadership. So we start most of our programs this way. So we want to start by defining what is leadership, what is coaching. And when we think of leadership, we try to really simplify it. We're not looking for this super comprehensive definition. And here's ours. It's the ability to achieve results through people. So if you're a people leader, you are probably evaluated on your ability to achieve results through people. Let that soak in for a moment. You're probably reading that thing, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. How well do I achieve results through people? Coaching is going to help you do that a lot better. So if you're able to coach your team, coach your individual people, maybe you have a small team, maybe a big team, but you can coach them to think for themselves, be more productive. It's going to allow you to achieve results through people. It doesn't say do all the stuff for your team, right? It doesn't say work 60, 70 hours because you need to be this amazing person that works so long. No, it's how well can you achieve results through people? So that leans back to delegating. How well can you delegate? How well can you manage your time? How well can you share responsibilities with others? How well can you coach? But it's not micromanage. And how about coaching? Here's a shorter version of our coaching definition: helping someone achieve the results they want to achieve. Right? Helping someone achieve the results they want to achieve. That's the definition that we use, and that comes right from our coaching program. And actually, here's our full definition from our coaching program. And the coaching program we use is called Real-Time Coaching. It's an awesome piece of curriculum, IP created by Ryan and Randy Lisk, an awesome program. And here's a definition that we refer to in the book. It's a process the coach uses to help others achieve the results they want to achieve. So it is a process, and I want to teach you that process today in a very kind of minimal form. So you're going to get just a glimpse of it, but it'll give you enough to be dangerous, and go practice it today. I'm going to teach you what that process is. All right, so who's got the monkey? This is a common theme throughout the coaching program, and it's something that we use to really kind of just show people that you're probably missing opportunities to coach in any given day. And we want to show you what those are and how easy you can modify your behavior to be a better coach. So there's a famous article. If you haven't heard of this, if you've never read it, I strongly encourage you to read it. You just go Google "Who's Got the Monkey?" Harvard Business Review. You'll find the article. It's the second most printed HBR article ever. It's a really, really good one. And I'm going to give you the summary of it today. So those of you that have been through our workshop, this will be a refresher. Those of you that have not, maybe this will be a new thing you've never heard before. All right, so who's got the monkey? So imagine this. The monkey is a symbol. It's like a symbol for a task or something that needs to get done. So picture this. You're sitting in an office. Maybe you have an office. Maybe you work within an office setting, and somebody walks into your office and says, hey, I'm going to pick a name. Hey, Angela. Hey, Angela Wilson. Hey, Angela. How are you today? Good, I hope you're doing well. Hey, you know that thing that you asked me to do? Well, I'm kind of stuck on it and I'm not really sure what the next approach should be. And what Angela does, if she's a monkey taker, she's like, oh, I know. I didn't know if you would know how to do it entirely. So go ahead and give it to me. I'll go ahead and take care of it. I can do it faster. I can do it in 10 minutes. It'll take me 30 minutes to actually show you how to do it. What went wrong there? Right. So that's an example of you taking the monkey. Now, all of you on this webinar today, you all have your own monkeys. As a leader, it should not be a goal to take on other monkeys from your team members. It should be a goal to detract those monkeys. So when the monkey is coming into your office and they're asking you questions, they're trying to hand a monkey over to you, you need to be able to detract the monkeys. You need to be able to ask the right questions, say the right thing, so they can walk out the office with their monkey in their hand, and maybe even give them another monkey. They'll get another monkey to them, because that is your role as a leader, to achieve results through people. So don't take the monkey. All right. So don't become a do-for manager. That's another way you can think of this. So do-for manager, what does that mean? Well, simple definition. What is do-for manager? Here it is. When you do a task or you take over initiative for somebody else. They might not even ask you to take it, but you just take it. Now, why do you take it? Because you can do it better. You can do it faster. You don't have the patience to show them how. You don't have the confidence that they can do it. So you just take it yourself. It might be a small task that takes you 5 minutes. It might be a larger initiative or project that might take you half a day or multiple weeks. But a do-for manager takes things away. You don't want to become a do-for manager, because if you're doing that, you're doing the opposite of achieving results through people, right? So we need to achieve results through people. Don't become a do-for manager. Okay, let's do a check-in. So I'm kind of browsing, monitoring the questions over here. We don't have one yet. So I want to just pause before I dive deeper into this and show you how all this works. What questions do you have so far? And I'll see if we have any stack up before I advance. Cool. No questions coming in. You guys must have this stuff. It's all clicking for you. And now you're probably ready to actually see how it works, right? See how you can navigate the situation. All right, I don't see any questions coming in. And Amber's also on here, our panelist. She can help answer questions if they come in too. All right, let's keep going. Let's explore a scenario. So I'll use myself as an example. Say I'm sitting in my office and I have a team member walk in, and a team member walks in and says, hey, Adam, Tom's on the phone. Tom's on the phone, and Tom's one of our clients. And he has a question about, let's plug in the leadership assessment that we rolled out in their last cohort. He has a few questions on it. And we know Tom's a super important client, and I want to make sure that we answer Tom appropriately and give the right answers, but I'm a little apprehensive to answer the questions that Tom has. They're kind of tricky. So what do I do as a do-for manager? Well, now you guys know what I do. If I'm a do-for manager, I say, oh, okay, well, go ahead and forward Tom over to me, pass him on over. I'll talk to Tom. So there I am. I get on the phone. So I stop what I'm doing. I get on the phone. I talk to Tom. I answer his questions. We probably start BSing a little bit, talk about other things, asking, what is he doing this weekend and Labor Day weekend? What are you going to do? What kind of plans do you have? And then have a great call. But then we hang up 10, 15 minutes later. All right, let's just analyze that situation. Team member walked in, asked me a question. Rather than coaching them through it, I took it from them. I had a call with Tom. I like Tom, got a chat with Tom. And now I was distracted from what I was doing. So now I have to go back and try to focus on what I was doing. So it took me out of my routine. Also, what happened to the team member? They didn't learn anything. I didn't coach them. I didn't ask them any questions. They simply wandered back over to their desk without learning a thing. And how many times do we do that throughout the day? Now, take that scenario I just shared, and maybe it's different context for you. I know some of you are in construction. Maybe you're out there in the field and somebody's walking by and they're asking you a question, and you just take it from them and do it yourself rather than coach them through it. Maybe you are in an environment where you guys are all virtual and you're using chat or Slack and you're getting questions, you're taking things on. Whatever your scenario is, whatever your context is, just think about, when do those type of scenarios play out and how are you responding now and how could you be responding? So let's turn it back. How should I respond in that instance? So a team member walks in the door. Hey, Tom's on the phone, has a question. What could I do? I could ask some questions. I could say some things like, oh, okay, well, tell me your question. What do you think about it? What have you tried so far? What are some ideas that you have? Oh, that might work. So it takes 30 seconds, maybe a minute to think through those questions and have a dialogue with my team member. But now what that's doing is it's getting that person to think more critically. It's getting that team member to think for themselves. It's starting to build confidence in them. And I'm not just giving them the answers. Yeah, maybe I do know the answers. And maybe they're frustrated because I'm not just giving them the answer, but we're trying to teach people and groom them and coach them to figure things out on their own. Go back to the previous slides. What's in it for you? It's for them to take ownership, them to think critically. So you got to stop giving the answers. Here's a simple example. Maybe some of you have kids. Maybe your kid walks up to you and says, hey, where are my shoes at? Are you going to go wander around the house looking for the shoes? You're probably not. You're probably going to say, they're probably the last place you left them. So it's easy to communicate with children like that, but when it's adults, we often have this gear that switches and we feel almost weird asking some of those questions. But as a leader, we got to do it. So you got to build more confidence and just do it. All right. So how did I do that? What are some questioning techniques you can use? It's the power of the questions, the power of open-ended questions. And when I asked one of you guys to define coaching earlier, one of you did say that is like your ability to ask great questions. It's exactly what it is. So here are a few questions. So going back to the example, my teamer walks in the door. Here's some things I could do to pass the monkey back. What do you think? What are some things you've tried? Where have you looked? What ideas might you have? What have you tried so far? Is that going to work? And then tell me your plan. Now, these questions, there's a purpose for them. And in fact, I'm going to kind of show you the model that we use in real-time coaching. And these questions play right in line with that model. All right, so as I unpack these, please ask questions if you have them as we get down to this page. So what this page is an excerpt from our real-time coaching workbook. And the real-time coaching program, we're teaching how to use this 4-part dialogue series in the coaching scenario. And this is just a snippet for you, of course. Now there's 4 different steps. And step 1, you have to uncover what the person's trying to achieve. Now, sometimes you already know what they're trying to achieve. It's implied. But sometimes they don't. Sometimes you don't. So you need to make sure that it's clear that you know what they want and they know what they're trying to achieve. And see the little gift icon? It's like, package us up. What are you trying to achieve here? And then the action. Okay, so what are you doing? What are you doing about it? So that's here what you want to hear is what action are they doing? What have they actually tried? And then we have the qualifying. Is it working? Is what you're doing getting you what you want? And then lastly is your plan. Tell me your plan. What's your plan? And we refer to the SMART acronym, making sure that your plan is SMART. It's specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. I know I said those fast, but you guys can go back and look at those later. So making sure that we're hitting these 4 steps and doing it in a conversation. So let me use another example. And those of you that have gone through our coaching program, you've probably heard this one. An easy way to think about this is through a fitness example. So maybe you have a goal and I'm going to ask you, okay, so what do you want? You say you're trying to get in better shape. What do you want to do? Most people, it's kind of general. It's like, well, I want to get in better shape. Like, okay, well, as a coach, I don't know how to steer you towards that. I need to have more information. So specifically, what do you want? Oh, okay, I want to lose, let's say 10 pounds by the holidays. All right, is that realistic? Sure, that's realistic. Now, what are you doing about it? You see, I'm on step 2 now. What are you doing about it? Well, I thought about it, but I haven't really, started trying it yet. Okay, well, is that going to work? Is what you're doing, just thinking about it, going to help you lose 10 pounds? Well, no, it's not. Well, you're right. So then what are you going to do about it? Right. So going back to that action and then have the person brainstorm actions like, oh, maybe I'm going to start eating better and go to the gym 4 days a week. Okay. Is that going to get you where you want to go? Yes, it probably is. Now, what's your plan? Think of a clear plan. When are you going to go? What are you going to eat? How often are you going to work out? What's your routine like? So really fleshing out that plan. And that's a very quick view of how these four questions can work. So my advice to you would be is start to use questioning techniques rather than just giving the answers. All right, so what's going to hold you back? What's going to get in your way when it comes to coaching? So there are some 3 common reasons that people don't use this questioning technique when they're coaching people. And the number 1 is it takes too long. It takes too long. It's going to take me longer to ask these questions than it is to just tell them the answer. Well, yes, in the moment it is, but you need to consider coaching an investment of time and energy. If you do it well, you'll have great ROI in the future. And another one is they can't do it as well as I can. Perhaps, perhaps you're right. Perhaps right now they can't, but they do need to start somewhere. Otherwise, neither of you are going to grow. So you need to start delegating, start coaching them now and not micromanaging them as much. And then they won't complete the task 100%. Okay, maybe they won't. Maybe they can only get it 90% or 80% or 70%. But what if they got it pretty far? What if they completed it 80% of the task? And then you were able to come and do the last 20. What would that do for you? You didn't have to do the heavy lifting of that 80%. So it's all about a mindset. And this is where we're going to transition into our delegation tip. And this really crosses over coaching, delegation, and not micromanaging. So here's a tip I hope all of you are listening up that you could try today. So oftentimes when people think of delegating, they think, oh, if I'm going to delegate a task, I'm going to delegate 100% of that task. Ooh, my team member isn't ready for it yet. My team member hasn't learned everything. They haven't gone through all the training yet, so I can't give that to them. Okay, well, what if you changed your mindset? What if you knew ahead of time that you wanted to delegate this task or initiative and they could not do 100% of it? In your mind, you were hopeful they could do 70 or 80%. You plug in the number, 70 or 80%. And then when you delegate that task to them, you can communicate that way. It's like, hey, pick your team member. Hey, Peter, I have a task or initiative I want you to work on. It's going to challenge you a bit. You might not be able to do it 100% of the way, but I want to see how far you can get. So, and then you explain the task. So that's setting up clear expectations. And it's taking the fear out of the person you're delegating to. And you're saying that I'm going to delegate this thing to you. You might not do it all 100% of the way. And now you have that mindset as well. So now when they come to you 2 or 3 days later, however the time you give them, and they come to you and it's 75% of the way there, they met your expectations. They're not coming to you with it 75% of the way there. And you're like, oh, man, I have all this more work to do, because you are assuming they're going to come that way. You're assuming they're going to come to you and you're still going to have work to do. And if you can start to implement these incremental delegation principles like this, over time, they'll be able to do more and more and more, and you'll be able to delegate more and more and more. So eventually, maybe it'll go from 80-20 to 90-10, 95-5, until they're doing the whole thing themselves. So I really encourage you to put that into practice, and you can do that as early as today. All right, just as we start to wind down now, and hopefully maybe some of you have some questions, things we haven't covered yet, but I want to share a free bonus resource with you. As we went through this coaching idea pretty quickly, we have a resource, and it's preparing for your next coaching conversation. And it's a free worksheet. And here's some things it helps you do. It helps you anticipate the needs of other people that you're coaching. It helps you uncover assumptions that you might have or another person might have, whoever it is that you're coaching. It's going to help you determine the best approach. It's going to ask you to think through, like, who's the person you're interacting with? What's their communication preference? How do you need to modify your approach to them? And then it's going to help you build confidence when you go to coach that individual or that team. So the worksheet is able to you for free. Simply go to our website, rockstarworkforce.com, of course, and then go to resources at the top. And then there's a lot of resources, but go to leadership activities, and then you're going to see these 5 right there. And it's the one on the right-hand side, preparation for a coaching conversation. Just download it. We'll ask for your name, email address, and then bam, you know it right there. So great little worksheet. And it's really helpful when preparing for a coaching conversation that you have to get right. Right. So it's one of the ones you're preparing for, you're planning for it. You're not just, it's not like a more in the moment one. And it's also going to make sure that you don't come off as a micromanager. So you're going to be coaching them with the right intentions. All right. So as we're winding down, final check-in for you, what questions do you have? Maybe some things that we covered that you want to hear a little bit more on. We still have four or so minutes. And then as you're thinking of questions, I'm going to go ahead and just share this last contact me page. If you want to stay in touch, you can text me, email me, call me. We can also join on LinkedIn, Instagram, the company's site or my site. And there we are. I know it's quick, hopefully practical. I really hope you got at least a couple of nuggets, 1 or 2 things out of these quick webinars. That's what we're hoping for. Not meant to be a super deep dive into any of these. So again, that's going to become a wrap for today. And I hope you guys got some value out of this. I'm going to stick on for a little bit and share and answer any questions we might have. Can you share how to find that worksheet again? Absolutely. So if you go to the website and then go to resources, and then you just gotta scroll down a tad and you're gonna see leadership activities. And then you'll be able to download it right there. Yeah. Cool, helpful, that's great. Kirsten, glad you're on. Jean, you're very welcome, thank you. And then you know what, we'll even just, we'll include the worksheet in the, when we send the recording out to you. Since all of you are here live, we'll make sure you get the recording. We can make sure we include it there too. You're very welcome. Thank you all for attending. Thank you, thank you. So Laura says, when they have a hard time to articulate what they want, any other good questions to ask? Ooh, that's a great one, Laura. I wish I would have came in faster because that's a very, very good one. So the question is, those of you guys still here, when somebody has a hard time articulating what they want, any other good questions to ask? And it looks like actually Amber is answering this one, and I'll go ahead and answer it as well. It's I like to do the invert. It's like, okay, so tell me what you don't want. If you're not sure what you do want, let's talk about what you don't want. As species, we're negative thinkers. It's easy for us to think of things that we don't want. So if I get somebody at least brainstorming a couple of things they don't want to have happen, we can say, okay, well, what's the opposite of those? Getting the person to start talking is what's most important in that situation. So even if it's what they don't want, we can then turn that around and get them to talk about some things that they do want. That's a great one. Absolutely, Laura, you're very welcome. All right. I don't see any more. Oh, could you share the 4 coaching questions from earlier? Absolutely. Yep, definitely share the four coaching questions with you as well. And you know, Kay, see Kay Barbosa, we can send you a book too, so you can read the book. A lot of this stuff is right in that book. All right. Well, those of you still on, thanks for hanging out. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Have a good Labor Day weekend. And I'm going to sit on here for about 2 more minutes to see if any more questions come on, but otherwise that's a wrap. Laura, the book is, I didn't talk much about the book, Laura, but it's Real-Time Coaching. It's the book that we use in our coaching program, Real-Time Coaching. Thanks, Jackie. Good seeing you. Glad you're here. I can't actually see you, but thanks you. And I'm glad you're here. Jeremiah, my pleasure. Thank you.